Fact of the day.
Fact of the day.
Hello, hi, and welcome to Fact of the Day with me. Okay, today's Fact of the Day is about ducks, and yes, I have the whiteboard. So, you probably thought to yourself, occasionally you've seen ducks walking on ice, and you're like, why are these ducks walking on ice? Surely their feet would freeze and they'd lose loads of heat through their feet. Well, let me explain why they don't. This is a duck's foot. That's a pretty good duck's foot, isn't it? And I'm just going to run through some colours. That's a duck's foot. This is the red, so this represents basically the main artery coming down from the leg, which basically splits off into lots of arterioles going down to the feet, and then coming up from the feet, you've got the main vein at the top here, and this is joined up by all these venules coming up, back up into the leg, okay? Now they're really close to each other. They're so close to each other they can exchange heat between them. Ah, you're thinking, I think I know what's going on. I think you do think you know what's going on. And you might be right. So what happens is this. At the top, this is the blood that comes from the body. And the blood from the body is at body temperature for the duck. So the heat coming down from the artery gets transferred across into the vein which has come up from the foot, which is really cold. So that gets transferred across to heat up the blood that's in the vein. And this happens all the way down, because as the blood is lost from the artery going across into the vein, which is coming up from the bottom, is still a lot colder than the blood that's in the artery, even at the bottom here, because the blood that's in the vein here is absolutely freezing cold, whereas the blood in the artery here has still got some warmth, so it still transfers it across. It's called a countercurrent heat exchange mechanism. So it's transferring the heat across at all points. That's why they're so close together. What this means is, also the duck doesn't have many muscles in its foot. The main muscles are in its leg to move the foot, and it's just got tendons in the foot. What this means is, it means that the duck can maintain the temperature, so the blood that's in the vein up here, before it goes up to the rest of the body, is pretty much back at body temperature. It only loses 5% of heat through the foot. 5%! It's standing on freezing cold ice, and it's losing 5% of heat. Look at that! That's crazy, isn't it? It loses 95% of the heat through its head because, it's got all the feathers and stuff to keep it warm. So it loses 95% of heat through the head, only loses 5% of heat through the foot because of this counter-current heat exchange mechanism. That's amazing. That's why ducks and other birdie-like organisms which can stand on ice don't freeze to death. That's it from me. Have a beautiful evening. See you later. Love you. Bye.